Hey there, and welcome to Family Revenge. We're so glad you're here. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay with us for every twist and turn. Let's jump right in. I turned 18 on a Sunday, and for once, my parents actually did something. They made dinner. Real dinner. Not takeout, not leftovers. There was even a cake. Chocolate, my favorite. Somehow they remembered. I walked into the living room and saw a wrapped box on the coffee table. Big one, tidy corners, silver bow, real wrapping paper. Not the reused kind from Christmas. I just stared at it. Jason was lounging in the corner of the couch, smirking like he was watching some inside joke play out in real time. My mom was grinning way too hard, and my dad had this weird, proud but guilty look on his face. I'd seen that look before, usually when they were about to tell me something they didn't want to say out loud. Go on, Jess, my mom said. Open it. I sat down cross-legged and peeled back the paper. My chest tightened as soon as I saw the logo. PlayStation, the new one. Not a knockoff, not last year's model. I blinked, thinking maybe I was imagining it, but no. It was real. I looked up at them. You're serious? I asked. This is for me? Jason chuckled. Don't look so shocked. I wanted to say something smart, but my throat kind of locked up. They'd never given me anything close to this before. I mean, growing up, Jason got the new bike, I got his old one. He got the car at 16, I got a bus pass, and now suddenly, I'm getting a brand new console? My dad clapped my shoulder like he just handed me the keys to the city. Happy birthday, sweetheart. I tried to smile. I even hugged them, which we never do. For a second, it felt real. Like maybe finally they saw me. Maybe this was their way of saying, hey, we screwed up, but we're trying now. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. Later that night, after everyone had gone to bed, I set it up in my room. It was heavier than I expected. I ran my hand along the side and noticed a faint smear, like a fingerprint. There were tiny scratches around the USB port. I frowned. Maybe it got bumped in shipping. Still, I turned it on. The light glowed blue, then white. The menu came up fast, already set to English, already connected to a profile named Ghost. Weird. I clicked into it, thinking maybe it was a setup user or something from the factory. But the dashboard had custom folders, files, saved content. This wasn't new. It wasn't even close. I leaned back, my stomach twisting, pulse in my ears. I knew this system. It was Jason's. I clicked on one of the folders, half expecting game saves or screenshots, something harmless. Instead, it popped open a list of files with names that looked off. Nothing with titles like Spider-Man Save or Call of Duty Loadout. Just strings of letters and numbers. Stuff like ACCT underscore REC underscore 1907 and INV underscore BTC 0419 underscore FINAL. I opened one. The screen went black for a second, then flashed back with some kind of spreadsheet. A bunch of dollar signs and what looked like wallet addresses. Long codes in columns, some labeled transfer complete, others pending. The hell? I backed out and clicked another one. Same kind of layout, only this one had a tab at the bottom labeled Clients. There were names, first names, last initials. A few cities next to them, Tampa, Des Moines, Fresno. One had a note next to it that read, Paid full tithe, callback Q2. My palms were sweating. I wiped them on my hoodie and kept digging, deeper into the folders. None of this had anything to do with games. No photos, no trophies, no downloaded DLCS, just data. Boring, cold, coded data. But not boring, not to Jason. This was his. I stared at the profile name again. Ghost. That's what he used for everything. His old username on Xbox. Even his Snapchat handle used to be Ghost89 or something like that. I remembered this console. He used to keep it in his room when he lived at home. He'd take it to parties, brag about all the crypto stuff he was doing with his friends out in LA. Back then, Mom and Dad acted like he was some tech genius. Meanwhile, I got grounded for streaming too much Netflix. I felt this cold rush down my arms. Not the kind from fear, more like betrayal, deep, slow, familiar. I thought about all the gifts I'd gotten over the years. Jason's old iPhone when I turned 16, cracked screen, wiped halfway, battery lasted 2 hours. A hoodie he didn't want anymore for Christmas. Even my first car was a hand-me-down that broke down a month later and sat in our driveway for 2 years. And now this, the biggest, flashiest birthday gift they'd ever given me. and it was his again. Still, I tried to reason with it. Maybe they bought it used and didn't check the hard drive. Maybe Jason sold it to them cheap. Maybe they meant well. For once. But my gut didn't buy it. I stared at the screen, heart pounding in my ears. If this was some kind of accident, why all these folders? Why this profile? Why hide it in plain sight? It felt too easy to find, almost like they wanted me to, or maybe they needed a place to put it, somewhere out of their hands, somewhere nobody would look, because who the hell would suspect the quiet 18-year-old girl who never caused trouble? I sat there for a while, not blinking, just staring at that Clients tab. None of this was an accident. They gave me this console for a reason, and I was starting to think it wasn't some pathetic leftover gift. They were hiding something, or worse, hiding behind me. I shut the console off and yanked the power cord from the wall. Then I locked my bedroom door. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that Clients folder, that list of names, those weird numbers, all of it pulsing behind my eyelids like a warning light. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, thinking over and over, why me? The next day, I kept to myself, ate late, stayed upstairs, didn't say a word to anyone. The console sat unplugged under my bed, wrapped in an old hoodie like I was hiding a weapon. By evening, I heard them downstairs. It started with raised voices, my mom's mostly, snapping short sentences. Then Jason, louder, defensive. I heard my dad too, lower, calmer. The sound carried up the stairwell and under my door. I cracked it open, slow and quiet, and crept out barefoot. The kitchen door was halfway shut, but the hallway was dark. I crouched low and moved toward it. Phone in hand, recording app already open. My thumb hovered over the screen. I stopped a few feet from the door and hit record. You said it was wiped, Jason, Mom hissed. You promised it was clean. I thought it was, Jason said. I deleted everything. Or I thought I did. You didn't, she snapped. There were still folders. You left files? Do you understand what kind of risk that puts us in? She won't know what she's looking at, Jason said, like it was a joke. Come on, Mom. She plays Sims and watches cat videos. You think she's gonna crack encrypted folders? Dad's voice came in, calm, even, cold. That's not the point. She doesn't need to understand it. If anyone finds it, she's the one holding it. My throat locked. She's 18 now, he continued. The system's registered under her birthday gift. Her room, her console, her name. If something happens, it's hers. Jason let out a soft laugh. That's what I said. She's the perfect decoy. No record, no clue, no reason to question it. If anyone comes knocking, it's her ass on the line, not ours. I felt my stomach turn. Mom wasn't laughing. It was supposed to be gone, Jason. Gone. You had months to scrub everything, and now it's sitting in her bedroom like a damn time bomb. Jason's voice dropped. You told me to move it. I moved it, Dad, again, cutting through the tension like a knife. We need to stay calm. If she says anything, we play dumb. Pretend we bought it used. We say we didn't know. Let her panic. The less we react, the more guilty she looks. I pressed my back against the wall, barely breathing. My hands were shaking. That's your sister, Mom snapped. How can you sit there so casually about it? She's always been the backup plan, Jason said. You just didn't want to admit it. That hit harder than anything else. I saved the recording and slipped back down the hall, heart pounding so loud I swore they'd hear it. Once I was in my room, I locked the door and sat on the edge of my bed, both hands gripping the phone. I listened again, the whole thing, every word. I didn't even cry. I just stared straight ahead, jaw locked, heart hammering. They hadn't forgotten my birthday. They'd used it, wrapped up their screw-up in shiny paper, slapped a bow on it, and handed me the blame with a smile. All of them in on it. Jason leading the charge, my dad pulling the strings, and my mom playing damage control. I wasn't the daughter. I was the fall guy. I didn't wait another day. The second the sun started going down, I was packing. Not like I was going to school or a sleepover. This was quiet, quick, everything essential. My black backpack from sophomore year, faded, a little torn at the bottom. I stuffed it with underwear, a hoodie, charger, deodorant, the cash I'd been saving from grocery runs. $64. The console barely fit. I wrapped it in a towel and wedged it at the bottom like it was some cursed object I had to carry to a temple. Then the controller, then the cords, then my phone, and the recording. That was the real bomb. My hands weren't steady, but my head was clear. They wanted to use me. They thought I'd freeze, stay quiet, maybe even take the hit when the heat came. Nah. I zipped the bag and opened my bedroom door. My parents were in the living room, half watching some home renovation show like nothing was falling apart. Jason wasn't there, probably off somewhere thinking he got away with it. I'm staying at Amber's tonight, I said, already halfway to the front door. My mom looked over, a little surprised. Now? Yeah, I said. She needs help with something for school. She gave a tight nod. Okay, don't stay out too late, I smiled. I won't. Then I opened the door and walked out into the night like it was nothing. But my heart was punching through my ribs the whole way. I didn't go to Amber's. I didn't even know where Amber lived. I walked fast, then faster, backpack slamming into my spine with every step. Down Hillcrest Drive, past the gas station, past the bus stop, straight to the police station. It was about 1.5 miles. The air was heavy and my throat was dry, but I didn't stop once. Inside, it was cold, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. A bored-looking officer behind the glass. I stepped up, dropped the bag on the counter, unzipped it, and pulled out the console and my phone. I need to report something, I said. This is evidence. It's not mine, but it's in my name. That got his attention. He buzzed me in, brought out another officer. Older guy, serious face, not the usual blank stare people give teenagers. He sat me down, took my name, asked questions. I gave him everything. Dates, names, what I found, what I heard. I showed him the recording. I watched his face harden as he listened. He didn't blow me off. He didn't laugh. When I was done, he nodded slowly and said, "You did the right thing." He handed me a little white slip of paper, the receipt for the evidence. The moment it touched my hand, I almost collapsed. It felt like proof, like I wasn't crazy, like this was real. Afterward, I didn't go home. I couldn't. I walked 6 more blocks to a hostel downtown I remembered seeing once on a field trip. It was gross, smelled like bleach and wet laundry, but it was open, and the guy at the desk didn't ask too many questions when I slid him my ID and paid cash for the night. The room had 2 bunk beds, no one else in it. I picked the one in the corner and sat on the edge with my backpack on my lap. I didn't unpack. I didn't cry. I just sat there, breathing, alone, scared, but somehow steadier than I'd ever felt. I laid down in that bunk bed with my backpack shoved under the pillow like a lifeline. Didn't unpack, didn't shower, didn't sleep. I blocked my parents' numbers, but their voicemail still came through. First it was my mom, voice trembling, pretending to care. "Honey, where are you? Call me back, please." Then it flipped. "Jessica, this isn't funny. You need to come home now." Then Jason. "What the hell did you do?" I stopped listening after the 3rd day. I still had to work. Couldn't afford not to. Grocery store on 5th and Monroe. I'd worked there 1.5 years, bagging, stocking, dealing with rude customers, and expired yogurt. This week, I had to pretend nothing was wrong. I threw on my green apron and smiled through gritted teeth. No one there knew. No one asked. I scanned cereal boxes, took cash, bagged produce like I wasn't unraveling inside. Every shift felt like walking through a minefield. By the 3rd night, I was jumping at every door chime. Then they showed up. I looked up and saw them standing outside. My mom, my dad, both stiff as boards, just standing there behind the glass, staring in like mannequins in Sunday clothes. I froze. They didn't come in. Not that night. They just watched. I worked the rest of my shift in total silence, head down, every muscle in my body locked. When I clocked out, they were gone, but my chest didn't loosen up, not one bit. The next day, they came back. Only this time, they didn't wait outside. I was helping a customer return a busted blender when I heard the door swing open hard. I looked up, and there they were, marching straight toward me. My mom in her beige cardigan, my dad with his jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. "Jessica," she snapped, "we need to talk." "In private?" my dad added. People were watching. I felt eyes from every aisle. I stepped back. "Get out." "We're not doing this here," my mom said louder. "You don't know what You tried to frame me." It came out sharp, loud, stronger than I thought I had in me. The store went dead quiet. Even the radio cut off in my head. "You gave me that console because you didn't want it found at home," I said, voice shaking but clear. You wanted me to take the fall. You wanted me arrested instead of your golden boy. Keep your voice down, Dad muttered, looking around. Why? So these people don't hear what you did? Maybe they should. My mom reached for my arm. I yanked it away. You gave me your crime as a gift, I said. Happy birthday, Jessica. Hope you enjoy prison. That did it. They turned, walked out without another word. The door swung shut behind them, and every eye in the store turned back to me. My parents stormed out like they were the victims. My dad wouldn't even look at me. My mom's face was red with rage, embarrassment, or both. The second that door slammed shut, the weight dropped. But it didn't disappear. The store was still dead silent. Customers awkwardly shuffled past. Someone coughed. My manager, Dana, peeked her head out from the back like she didn't know whether to come over or pretend she hadn't seen a thing. She came over. Jess, you okay? I didn't answer, just turned and walked to the break room. Clocked out early. No one stopped me. By the time I got back to the hostel, my phone had 12 missed calls, 6 voicemails, and a handful of texts from unknown numbers, all area codes from home. I stared at the screen, didn't touch it, just sat on the edge of the bed, backpack still under my pillow. Eventually, I hit play. The first voicemail was from Mom. Calm at first, then building. Jessica, you've gone too far. Do you even realize what you've done? The store? The way you screamed at us in public? What are people going to think? Beige cardigan and all, still worried about appearances. Next one was shorter, no voice, just breathing. I skipped it. Third one, her voice cracked halfway through. Your brother was arrested. Because of you. There it was. Her exact words. I played that one again. Your brother was arrested. Because of you again. Because of you. Not because of what he did. Not because of the crimes he committed. Because of me. I sat there holding the phone, thumb shaking, chest like a rock. There was no satisfaction, no relief. Just this cold, dull pressure behind my ribs. Number. That was the moment I knew. It didn't matter what Jason had done. They still saw me as the problem. I broke the code. I told. I brought shame to the house. He could have stolen $1 million and set the house on fire, and they'd still blame me for calling the fire department. I turned the phone off. No texts, no replies, no more voicemails. The next day at work, nobody said anything directly, but the vibe was different. Colder, a little more cautious. My manager asked if I needed time off. I told her no. I could feel them watching me differently now, like I was something cracked, someone who had more going on than she let on. I guess they were right. The day crawled by. Every beep of the scanner made my head throb. I kept picturing Jason in a jail cell, Mom crying in some car, Dad pacing a living room acting like the world betrayed him. But I didn't cry. Not once. That part of me was dried up. They'd handed me the fire. I just lit the match. And somehow, I was still the villain in their version of the story. The first detective called me 3 days later. By then, the story had already started making the rounds. Local news, small blogs, a few Reddit threads with the wrong details. But I didn't care about the noise. I just answered every question they asked, told them what I knew, showed them how to access the folders. They found even more than I did. Jason hadn't just been hoarding files. He'd been running full-blown investment coaching scams for months. Fake business names, doctored documents, crypto wallets connected to seniors in assisted living homes across 5 different states. He promised them insane returns. He even made some of them record testimonials. They played one for me, an old man, smiling, talking about how Jason helped secure his future. The guy lost everything. There were 27 confirmed victims, almost 200 grand gone. When the DA called and asked if I'd testify, I said yes without even thinking about it. I wasn't scared, not anymore. I was pissed, focused. Court took forever to start. Paperwork, motions, delays. But when it finally happened, I was there every single day. Clean shirt, hair brushed, no makeup. Just me, plain and steady, in the back row of that courtroom. Jason didn't look at me once. He wore a suit 2 sizes too big and tried to sit there like some misunderstood genius. But the evidence spoke louder. My console, my testimony, my recording, it tied everything together. The jury didn't blink. Guilty on all counts. Sentenced to 5 years. I didn't cry. I didn't flinch. I just sat there, arms folded, watching him get cuffed. Watching the bailiff lead him out the side door like trash being taken out back. Mom and Dad never showed, not once. They didn't call, didn't text, nothing. It was like they disappeared the second their plan collapsed. I guess once Jason couldn't carry the family image anymore, they had nothing left to defend. Fine by me. The prosecutor shook my hand. A few reporters tried to ask questions. I kept walking. The courthouse steps felt heavier going down than up. Like all the tension had been sitting in my spine for weeks, and now gravity was finally catching up. I went straight back to work the next morning. No speech, no update, just stock the shelves like always. Nobody said anything, but my manager left a donut on my locker, plain glazed. I took a bite and kept moving. I wasn't looking for attention. I wanted it done. And it was. He was gone. 5 years, 27 people scammed, almost $200,000. But in the end, they didn't see him as the monster. They saw me as the match that burned it all down. I could live with that. The month after court, I moved into a 2-bedroom above a sketchy deli and a nail salon. Found it from a notice board at the grocery store. Roommate wanted, must not suck. That was the whole ad. I called. She answered. Her name was Lex. She smoked on the balcony, had 3 plants she named after rappers, and didn't ask a single question about my past. We split rent. I paid cash. She let me be. I still worked the same job, same uniform, same aisle, same rude customers. But something shifted. My coworkers, the ones who used to barely say hey, started treating me different. Nicer, more careful, a little more respect, like they saw I wasn't some quiet nobody anymore. I didn't ask for that, but I didn't hate it either. I kept my head down, paid my bills, bought my own groceries, cooked sad little dinners on a hot plate. The room was small, but it was mine. I hung my apron on the door hook and tucked my backpack under the bed like always. The voicemail slowed down after a while. First Mom stopped, then Dad. Jason obviously had nothing to say from inside. Eventually, I just blocked every last number, every contact, even the landline. Silence. I didn't check social media anymore. Didn't want to know what they were posting. I imagined it was some version of the truth that made them look like the victims. Whatever. Lex never pried. Just handed me coffee in the mornings and made space for my box of cereal in the pantry. Sometimes I caught myself flinching at loud knocks or expecting an ambush outside the store. But nothing ever came. No more setups, no more mind games. No more sudden gifts that came with a catch. Just days, normal, boring, quiet days. One night I came home from work, dropped my bag, and sat on the futon, still in uniform. The room was dark, fan humming in the corner, the smell of nail polish drifting up through the vents. And for once, I didn't feel like something bad was about to happen. I didn't feel like I owed anyone anything. I didn't feel like I was bracing for the next punch. This might be what peace feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, just still. I leaned back on the futon, arms behind my head, staring at the ceiling. One bulb flickered in the kitchen, and Lex had music playing low in her room. Something with a lazy beat and no lyrics. There were no trophies on the wall, no framed photos, no fake family smiles. But everything in this space was mine. The chipped coffee mug, the secondhand floor fan, the dented fridge with my name written in Sharpie on the milk. Nobody gave me anything here, nobody could take it away. It's funny, in a screwed up way, that console was supposed to wreck me. Jason probably thought I'd never notice. My parents probably thought I'd be too scared to act. They didn't think I'd fight back. But that gift, the thing they handed me like a ticking time bomb, it cracked everything open. And in the fallout, I got free. No more pretending to be part of a family that never picked me. No more waiting for a seat at a table that was never set for me. I don't miss them. Not even a little. Not the way Mom clutched her pearls when I raised my voice. Not the way Dad delivered guilt like a sermon. Not Jason with his smug, perfect grin and endless excuses. They're not here. They don't get to be. And I'm still standing. I don't trust easy now. That part's real. I keep my circle tight and my expectations even tighter. But I don't need to trust the world. I trust me. That's enough. So yeah, that's what happened. You think I overreacted? You think I should have stayed quiet? Let me know. I've heard worse.